Do we want the customer to give us all the money?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
So right now, what if the customer says, "Oh, that's too much"? None of them work for me.
I've got
You're
no
gonna build the value of the vehicle.
No, they're going to say that anyway.
Yeah.
Either way.
They're going to say, look, you can take the perfect deal out to a customer. Plenty for their trade. Nice discount. Payments they can easily make. Cash they've got in their back pocket. Will they still bitch?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Give you a shitty review.
Thank you very much. Why do they still bitch?
They're programmed.
Say again?
They're programmed.
They're programmed. They have learned
Just keep asking.
over the years that it's very profitable to say no to a car salesperson because most car salespeople don't know what to say when they hear no. Tell me the payment's too high.
Payment's too high.
Of course it is. Payment's too high for almost anything these days. However, you picked out a vehicle that has got all the technology you told me you had to have. Now, I need you to pick one of these payments and okay it right down here. I'm not even going to treat it like an objection. Tell me you want a bigger discount.
Well, there's no way like you can take off $1,000 or two.
No, not at all. You're getting a $4,300 rebate. Now pick one of these payments, please. I acknowledge what he's saying and reclose. Now, in the real world, a customer might say, read my lips, I want a bigger discount. Read my lips, I want a lower payment. And then it's an objection. But I'm not going to treat it like an objection.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me I'm not giving you enough for the trade.
You're not giving enough for my trade. This is
Mo,
perfect condition.
Mo. This is
I'll put the wheels on it.
everybody that sits in that chair says the same thing. It must be the chair. Look, we don't determine the value of your trade. The market does. I told you that. If you're mad about that number, blame your friends, family, and everybody in the state of Illinois. Now I need you to pick a
Well,
payment,
Kelly
okay?
Blue Book, they gave me more. They gave me a higher offer.
Kelly Blue Book doesn't provide offers. Only we provide offers.
But-
Kelly Blue Book provides dreams, as in they dream your vehicle was worth that much. It ain't. I need your okay right down here. All right, now,
Now, what did they say? Well, you won't go up and ask your manager. Like, do you do the appraisals? Like, do you make appraisal prices? You won't go ask your manager for me? Like, because I know every time you get up, it's
you're losing money.
losing
Every
money.
time you know.
Right.
No, I'm not going to do that. Now, would I do it when the customer looks at me and says, well, I'm out of here. If you can't get me more for my trade, I'm leaving. Yeah, then I would do it.
Okay.
But I'm never going to do it early.
Right.
And I'm going to give them multiple justifications, which we're going to get into in a few minutes.
I have a question.
Yes.
In your days of like selling cars, like
It was the dark ages.
what were the reasons people would leave? Like what were the reasons you couldn't close it? What were the
The same reasons people leave today. The exact same reasons. Except that we were fighting over we discounted the car $400. Why? Because the MSRP was $6,000, okay? People leave for the same reasons now as they did back then. The difference was vehicles were much less expensive. But you know what the interest, when I was a finance manager in 1980,
19%.
19.6.
That was the rate?
That was the state cap. That's if you had good credit.
19%.
And 25% down.
22% as well.
Well, the prime rate was 21 or 22% under Jimmy Carter.
Really?
Yeah.
So the rates.
Rates are, see, to me, these rates are ridiculously low. Okay, they're not 0 and 1% anymore, but they're not, if you bought a used car, you were in the mid-20s. That's if you had good credit. But the balances were much smaller.
Yeah.
So what do you?
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, no question. Yeah.
The balance
You
is-
told us last time the highest car, like the most expensive car, was like a 15,000 BMW. Right?
The most expensive BMW I sold was 15 grand. The most expensive Honda was 6 grand. The most expensive Pontiac was 9 grand. So, and the longest term I could go was 36 months.
Wow.
But by the way, negative equity wasn't even a term. Upside down wasn't a term. You could buy a car today and trade it tomorrow because my most lenient lender had to have 25% down. And 25% down in 36 months, you got equity
Like that.
the next day.
0 down, 84 months.
Yeah, try that one.
Also hard special.
Yeah.
Well, in 1981, General Motors came out with the first rate subvention program. We were a store that sold 150 units a month. GM came out with 11.9 for 36 months, 10.9 for 24 months. We sold 150 cars in 3 days because 11.9 and 10.9 were unheard of low rates.
So you guys had no 0.9
That was the
or
zero.
Good God, no.
when that started happening when they went down?
Well,
9/11, I think, right?
I think you may be right. I don't actually recall. That's probably when it did start.
So it's gonna go back up.
In 1981 also,
Thank you.
they started extending the terms and loosening the down payment qualifications. That's when people started becoming upside down.
Well, another thing too, you guys didn't have the internet back then.
Did not have what?
The internet, website, like people shopping online.
The internet wasn't even a word.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Cell and phone were
Yeah.
words, but they weren't used together because there was no such thing as a cell phone. No, people had no information. If they wanted to know what we had on our lot, they had to come to the lot.
Yeah.
They had books. I used to remember when I was growing up.
Oh,
there
they'd
was
have
books.
used car books.
Used car books.
Yeah, used car books would be 6 months old by the time it was published. Yeah, it was a beautiful.
Car ads and back pages.
Our
Imagine shopping.
trucks didn't have stickers. How much is that truck? How much do you have? Yeah, I think in 80 or 81 they started putting Maroni stickers on there.
Man, that'd be nice, man.
Yeah. All right.